third recipe now for the Fill My Belly unit, and the third recipe is spinach and artichoke dip. I've already put my oven on, but you'll see by the recipe, when I post the recipe online for you, the recipe actually says preheat your oven to 350 degrees, and it doesn't give you any other indication as to what that is if you have got centigrade or Fahrenheit or gas. Mine is in centigrade, so I am preheating my oven just to 200. So 350 on the recipe. I've got 200 to 210 if you're doing centigrade, and probably about gas mark 4, 5. I haven't used gas for a long time, but it should be around about 4 or 5. So just check with your parents as to what the required temperature should be. Switch your oven on. As you know, your oven has to come to temperature before you actually put anything in it. While it's coming to temperature, I'm just going to give you a few ideas about what is in the ingredients for this recipe. So the spinach I've used is just ordinary chopped frozen spinach. Now that's actually come in a 250 gram box, and I'm actually going to use the whole 250 grams. The recipe says 4 ounces. Now just in terms of conversion, it makes it really easy if you think about 25 grams to 1 ounce. Okay, it's a bit more than that. That's not the exact weight, but you can check that on measuring tables just using Google. But I roughly use about 25 grams to 1 ounce, and that keeps me right. Anyway, I'm going to use the whole box. It's 250 grams, so it's just a bit more than what the recipe is suggesting, but I didn't want to waste any. Okay, so box goes in the recycling, as you know. So that's your spinach. Then you have to use artichoke hearts, and the can that I'm using is a 400 gram can. So it says 3 artichoke hearts. But because I'm using more spinach, I'm just going to use the full can. I think it's actually cheaper to buy the larger can than the smaller, and just doing it a little bit more doesn't really make any difference. Again, drain your artichoke you can drain them into a colander like that. I've had those draining there just for quite some time. Okay, also into the recipe goes a 1/4 cup of sour cream. I'm using light sour cream. Doesn't matter if you use light or the full cream, sour cream. Makes no difference. It says half pizza cheese blend. What it means by half is that should be half a cup. And when you're measuring, using cups, use a cup that has measurements on the side, like this. And you can see 1 cup is close to 250 mils of liquid. But for cheese, we only want half a cup. I'm going to put just about 3/4 cup, a little bit more because I wanted to use all the spinach. So I'm using just the Woolies Italian cheese blend. I'm not endorsing any products by any means. You can use whatever brand you like, but that's the brand I'm using. Half a block of cream cheese. Now you can buy cream cheese in blocks, or you can buy it in a tub like this. They both have the same weight. They're both 250 mils of cream cheese, so you only need half a block of cream cheese. 2 cloves of garlic. And you mince the garlic using a garlic press if you've got one. If you can't, you're just using jar garlic rather. Maybe just 1 clove would maybe be about half a teaspoon. So probably a teaspoon of the jar garlic, minced garlic. And then of course your salt and pepper to taste. Now essentially all you have to do is chop up your artichoke hearts, add your bag of spinach and all the rest of the ingredients after measuring them properly, pop them into the bowl and mix them up. I'm going to get to that point now. I'm going to pause the video, get to that point and come back to you with some more after this. Hi guys, back again just to show you I've already put most of the ingredients into the bowl. Just a reminder, when you use ingredients like cheese and cream, they're perishable and they need to go straight back into the fridge. As soon as you've measured them, put them back into the fridge to stay cool. You don't want them going off. I've measured my cheese into my cup, my half a cup there. And my garlic, I've taken a clove off, taken the skin off, popping it into my garlic crusher. I'm just taking out the rest. I did put one in there already. You can see I'm just crushing that through that way. Take a knife, pop it off, open it up, and then you can take the skin bits out just with a knife. Just on knives, make sure you don't use one as big as I'm using. Those bits don't get wasted, by the way. I just pop my garlic crusher in my already filled sink. Remember, don't fill your sink initially. Make sure you drain your spinach and artichoke hearts into the sink first. Give it a rinse and then fill your sink with water. The leftover bits that we have got in the garlic press, I'm just going to chop them up and add them to my mixture. Now you can see that I've got my garlic mixture in there. I've showed you that. Also in there, if you can zoom your camera in, when you get the spinach and the artichoke hearts out, you drain them. What you need to do is get them between your hands and give them a really good squeeze and get out as much water as you possibly can. If you have a lot of water in there, your dip will end up being really quite runny and you don't want that. You can also see that I've measured my cream cheese and my sour cream and I've popped it into the bowl ready for mixing. Now all I need is a trusty wooden spoon and basically everything goes into the bowl, including the cheese. Now there's 3 different cheeses in that blend. There's mozzarella, parmesan and cheddar. Okay, put some salt in there as well for flavour and some pepper and mix it around. Now you can use spinach out your garden if you want to. If you've got spinach in the garden, please do. I mean, obviously any fresh vegetables or herbs are things that you can use. And if you want to use your imagination and put other herbs in there, please do, because the unit is on agriculture and on herbs. And make sure you give that a good mix. There we go. Now I've got my trusty scraper. I love this little gadget. It makes sure that I'm using all my ingredients and nothing's being wasted. So you take your scraper and scrape your spoon down, like so. You can see the spoon's nearly clean before popping it into my washing up water. I've already got a dish. This is what's known as a chafing dish. And I'm going to put all those ingredients into the chafing dish. Now it does say in a greased dish, so Miss Mackenzie might just grease that. I'm just using the spray grease for quickness. You can use butter and a piece of paper to grease the dish. I'll pop that in there. We don't want that sticking, really, do we? So again, I know you can't see this because you can see the back of the bowl, but I will hold it up in a minute. I'm going to hold up both things. I'm going to hold up my empty bowl, brownie points, for as clean as you can get that bowl before it has to be washed. And then just gently tease your dip around your bowl. You can see the size of the bowl I'm using, depending on how many ingredients you've got. Depends on the size of the bowl you need. Now you can judge that once you've mixed it. Of course, I've made this before, so I kind of knew what size bowl to use. So, yeah, I love pepper. And as you know, I'm a fan of chilli as well. I'd pop some chilli in that if you want to. I would have thought about that before I started, but anyway, it's not in there now. And then that goes into the oven for 35 minutes. Now the recipe also says you may broil for 1 to 2 minutes after it's finished. Broiling means just grilling it and giving it a nice brown colour on top. If you choose to do that, guys, please make sure you do not leave your grill whilst it's under there, because it happens so quickly. So you have to make sure that you take your dip out in time before it burns, or switch your grill off before it burns. Okay, so we don't want any burnt dip. Okay, so I'm going to pop that into the oven for 35 minutes. Now, I have a timer on my oven, so I'm very fortunate that way. But you can use your, I've got a watch as well, so you can use your watch, or you can use your phone. So put my timer on there, and when the timer stops, that's just to check it. Okay, it may need a few minutes more, it may be ready to take it out. So it says 30 to 35 minutes, pop it in for 30 first and have a look at it then. Okay, this is when you do your dishes. Once you've done your dishes, you get your bread, and it says 2 bread rolls here. I've actually got half a loaf of batard bread that I'm going to use. It's a French bread. And I'm just going to cut the bread into nice thin slices. Look how thin. And I'm using a bread knife. Okay, be very careful when you're using knives. Remember, don't use a knife this large. Use a smaller one if you can, just depending on what you've got at home. Try to use a sharp knife and keep it away from your fingers. The sharper the knife, the easier it is to cut. Also easier it is to cut yourself. Okay, so I'm just going to pause this video here. I'm going to keep cutting. After my dip is finished, I'll come back again and show you what the finished product should look like. Hi again, students. Now 30 minutes has passed, or rather about 35 minutes has passed. My spinach and artichoke dip is just been beeping in the oven, so it means it's ready. Okay, in the half an hour that I was waiting for that to be done, I cleaned my dishes. You can see how clean the kitchen is. I want you to remember to leave the kitchen clean, always important. Another thing that's important, make sure you're using your oven gloves to get anything out of the oven. There you go. Wow, that looks good. Now I didn't broil mine. Broil meaning putting it under the grill or the salamander to give it the brown colour. I just did that in the oven, so that gave that the nice brown colour, just doing it in the oven. Also remember to turn my oven off. Okay, I've got my bread cut there, and I could actually just serve it as is on the wooden chopping board. That would be neat. Never forget to garnish your finished product, and because this unit is about herbs, I'm garnishing it with parsley and just some lemon. There we go. And I just thought I'd serve some chips with that as well. So I'll just leave them on the board like that. And there you go. That's your spinach and artichoke dip. I hope you and your family enjoy. Stay safe, everybody.